This is a 2000 Ford E150 cargo van with loose steering. The shaft was just moving up and down. I've seen some different videos that the bearing is bad. It turns out the bearing wasn't bad on mine. It was loose, worn out collar, spring was broken, different things. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of go through everything. I've already just assembled it, but I'm going to show you how to disassemble it. There's underneath, behind the wheel is a plastic tab on each side. Take the plastic tab off. There's an 8mm screw or bolt. So there's one on each side. That gives you access to the airbag horn assembly. So then you take that off, but it's still connected. So there are horn wires, and everything's connected to this. So these wires will run through this, right through this opening here, and you can just pull them out. These two holes right here. This plastic insulator that goes over the end of each one of these. So just make sure you don't lose those. And then this connector, there's a tab on there, on here. You can release that tab and pull that connector out. And then you can take this airbag assembly and pull it off the side. I've been told that you'll just have to have the key off so your airbag doesn't go off. But I disconnected the negative terminal of the battery. And to even be extra safe, you can find the fuse and take the fuse out. The next step is removing the steering wheel. There's a bolt, and I can't remember what torque bit. Let me see. Torque bit. T50. You might have to use your knees to hold the steering wheel, or if you get an impact gun, that comes off next. And next thing you're going to need is a puller. I went to Pep Boys and got this puller. So these arms fit one on top and one on bottom. Excuse me, I'm just trying to hold the phone. Alright, yeah, and that just pulls the wheel off. So you pull the wheel off, put that off to the side. And then this is the next thing that comes off. And when it's in place, there's one plastic tab. You can't see it right now, but you just pull that off. And then this ribbon will probably uncoil, but don't worry about that. Just let it uncoil, let it hang. When you do, wrap it up counterclockwise. The next piece to get off is this. So there are 3 screws. 1, 2, to take the bottom cover off. So you take the bottom cover off, and then this just lifts up a little bit. You don't have to take that off, and that'll give you access. There's plastic tabs. Let's see if we can see them. That green plastic tab. Just get a screwdriver, pull down on it, and that'll pop that. And the same thing. There's one on the top. Pop that. Now this connector, you don't have to worry about taking this connector off. There's one behind. You have enough room to just pull it off and just let it hang. The next thing is take this piece just slides off. That helps your gives a couple of notches for your turn signal indicator. And I suggest when you put everything back, put a little bit of grease on everything. So here's where I came to my problems. But this thing is just loose. Alright, this collar, after I took the C-clip off, just get the right tools, pop the C-clip off. This collar here, this is a new one, I haven't got all my parts yet. This collar here was essentially almost disintegrated. So I took that off, and then the spring, my spring was broken in pieces. Look at that. And then there's another collar. That's all worn, all thin and worn. And then this conical little piece here, that is the critical piece right there. That was nothing but a thin little ring. It's a conical piece, shaped it's conical shaped. So when everything's put back together, if you do have to take the bearing out, first of all, I don't think you can do it if the bearing is complete. So even though this one had just slight little bit of wear, I couldn't get my seal puller in there to pull it out. So I'm going to use the same bearing. And then once everything is reassembled with the proper spring, I just ordered a spring, it's going to push that down in there. And then that, I've already tried it with pushing it, but see right now it's still loose because the spring's not pushing it down. Once it's pushed into place, that thing, look at it, it's going to be rock solid. So put everything back in order. That conical collar goes in first, then the spring, then another collar on it goes down like that, then the C-clip, and then everything else is put back in reverse, and then it should be fine.